Hello children, welcome back to your SST class. In the previous video, I have already discussed that how Britishers they tried to capture Bengal. Now today we'll study about the Battle of Plassey. This battle was fought between Sirajuddaulah, the Nawab of Bengal on one side, and the East India Company on the other side. They met for the battle at Plassey on 23rd June 1757. Now you'll think, where is Plassey? So you can see it in the map. I have already told you that Britishers were not at all happy with the Nawab of Bengal, that is Sirajuddaulah, and they were very close to another person, that is Mir Jafar, who was commander-in-chief of the Nawab. So they wanted that if Mir Jafar will help the Britishers, then Britishers will make Mir Jafar as the new Nawab. So in the battle, Mir Jafar also came to know of this plot of the British East India Company. So a battle was fought between Sirajuddaulah and the company, and in the battle Sirajuddaulah was defeated and he was imprisoned, as well as later on he was killed. So Britishers, what they did, they made Mir Jafar as the new Nawab of Bengal. Mir Jafar, who was proclaimed the new Nawab, he gave British undisputed right to trade in Plassey without any taxes. And just because Mir Jafar, he was a puppet in the hands of British, so Britishers, what they did, they utilized him. They keep on demanding the money from him, and for them Mir Jafar was a golden sack, whom they thought that they can dip their hands whenever they like. But whenever they want the money, Mir Jafar will give them. In this way, the company's servants, they collected the gifts and the rupees of value 30 million from the Nawab as well as from the treasury of Bengal. The victory of the Britishers in this battle paved the way for the British conquest of Bengal as well as whole of India. And this way, the company, which was just a trading company earlier, it transformed to a political power in the Indian Empire. Now let's see what happened after this Battle of Plassey in Bengal. In Bengal, Robert Clive, he became the governor in the year 1758. He was exercising a complete control over Mir Jafar, that is Robert Clive. But still the Britishers, they were not happy with him. So they replaced Mir Jafar with his son-in-law, that is Mir Qasim. And this new Nawab, he rewarded the company with the zamindari of 3 more districts and the presents with the value of rupees 29 lakh. He gave the company a right to collect the revenue of the districts of Burdwan, Midnapur and Chittagong. But gradually, you know what happened? Mir Qasim also, it emerged as a threat to the company, because he shifted his capital to Monghar, he improved his finances as well as he improved the state of his army. This was not liked by the Britishers because he also checked the misuse of the trade privileges by the company servants on their private trade. And as a result, Mir Qasim, he took a very bold step. You know which step Mir Qasim took? He abolished all the taxes on the internal trade for all, means for the Indian merchants as well as for the Britishers. And the result was that the Indian merchants were also able to enjoy all the concessions which only the Britishers were enjoying so far. So company could not tolerate this kind of equality between the Indians and the British merchants. As a result, Britishers now decided that they have to remove now Mir Qasim also. This resulted in another battle, and that battle is known as Battle of Buxar, which was fought in the year 1764. A series of battles were now fought between Mir Qasim and the Britishers. The result was that what happened to Mir Qasim, that he fled to Awadh. There in Awadh he formed an alliance. Means he combined his army with that of the Nawab of Awadh and Shah Alam, who was the Mughal emperor. Now their combined army met with British forces at Buxar. Buxar, now you can see Buxar where it is on the map. So they all met on 22nd October 1764. The result was that the Indian army was defeated. It was one of the most decisive battles in the Indian history, because this battle made the English East India Company the real master of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. A treaty was also signed in which Shah Alam II, he granted company the Diwani means the right to collect revenue of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Orissa is now known as Odisha. Okay, and Shuja Uddaula, he has to pay 50 lakh rupees as a war damage to the company. And Mir Qasim, he was deposed, means he was removed, and again Mir Jafar was made the Nawab. As British now became powerful, the Nawab of Awadh, Bengal and the Mughal emperor, they all became dependent on the English East India Company. And this gave Britishers an opportunity with these enormous resources that they can now go for expansion of their power in India. I hope you must have understood till here. Now moving to the next topic, that what happened in Bengal after the Battle of Buxar. As a result of both the battles, that is the Battle of Plassey and the Battle of Buxar, the English East India Company became the real ruler of Bengal. The Nawabs now became dependent completely on the company for their protection. Company used to collect the revenue as Diwani. So we see that Britishers, they got all the power and they were having all the income also, but they were not having any kind of responsibility. Whereas on the other hand, Nawabs, they were having all the responsibility, but they were having no power and they were not left with any source of income. This form of government is known as dual system of government. The effect of this type of government was very disastrous for the people. You know why? Because neither the company was caring for the people nor the Nawab was caring. Moreover, a terrible famine also struck Bengal in the year 1770, and that wiped out around 1/3 of the population of Bengal. But still, company did nothing to provide any kind of relief to the people of Bengal. This dual form of government came to an end in the year 1772, when Bengal was completely brought under the control of the company. And at that time, a new Governor General, that is Warren Hastings, was appointed, and he took upon the responsibility for further expansion of British Empire in India. Now let's move to the next topic, that is growth of British influence. Till now we have seen that after conquering Bengal, which was the most richest province, the Britishers, they have eliminated most of their foreign rivals, and the company is now ready to acquire more and more territories in India. To acquire more and more territories, the Britishers, they launched wars, many more wars. The kingdom of Mysore and Marathas were also a very strong rival for the British at that time. So Britishers, what they did, they fought and launched wars against both of them. Now next is the Anglo-Mysore War, which was fought between the British East India Company and the two important leaders of Mysore, that is Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. They both were the powerful rulers of Mysore, and both were opposing Britishers. Tipu Sultan did not want that British should trade in his region, and moreover one more thing was there, that he was very much close to the French, and this was not at all liked by the Britishers. So between the year 1766 to 1799. Four wars were fought between the British and the Mysore. These wars were the result of the treaties that were signed between the Britishers and these powerful rulers. And these treaties were basically related to the three important places. They were Mysore, Mangalore, and Srirangapatnam. These were the three treaties which were signed between them. Though Hyder Ali had some victories with the British, but the Britishers were finally able to subdue him. On the other hand, Tipu Sultan, Hyder Ali's son, he came to know of the intentions of the Britishers. So he waged two wars against the Governor General, that is Lord Cornwallis and Lord Wellesley. But at last he was killed, fighting heroically in the year 1799 at Srirangapatnam. His territories were also being divided between the British and his ally, the Nizam. And the new ruler, he was being forced to sign another treaty that is known as Subsidiary Treaty. Next we will study about the war between the English East India Company and the Marathas. Marathas basically were having a very good time till the year 1761, because during that time they tried to capture more and more places in India. They expanded their kingdom in India. Till the year 1761 it was okay, but they lost in the third battle of Panipat, and due to their defeat they became very weak. The British and Marathas, they fought three wars. They were the first Anglo-Maratha war, second Anglo-Maratha war, and the third Anglo-Maratha wars. They were between the year 1775 to 1818. The result of this war was that the British were able to finally strike back with their great energy and power under Lord Hastings in the year 1818, and they were able to dethrone the Peshwa and pension him off. The territories of Peshwa were also annexed to the province of Bombay. The territories of the Peshwas were brought under the British rule, and other Maratha chiefs, they were also forced to give up their territories, and they were no longer allowed to keep an army also. This way the Britishers, they captured a control over the territories of Marathas. Hope it is clear till here to everyone now. Now the next topic is how Britishers expanded their territory under Lord Wellesley, who became the Governor General in the year 1798. Wellesley managed to expand the territories of British in India through two ways. First was the system of subsidiary alliance, and another was the war. Let's see how.